Why would anybody, even for one day, say, I don't want Russian to be spoken? Why would anybody, even for one day, say, I don't want Russian to be spoken here? What are you? Who are you? What sort of person are you? Well, who are you to stop me speaking my language? So our relationship with Russia starts in 1917. It's not the one of today. They were one of the few countries which stood with the colonized peoples in the anti-colonial struggle. Then in the Second World War, Russia played a very big role in the defeating of Hitler. And after the Second World War, the Soviet Union assisted us again in the anti-colonial struggle. All the liberation movements, including the one of Uganda, got support, either moral or material, from the Soviet Union. So I salute the Soviet Union, because they are the ones who did most of the fighting. You can imagine by the time the Americans landed in Normandy, this is 1944, when the Soviet Union had already pushed Hitler out of most of the Soviet territory. Big victories had already been achieved against Hitler. The Battle of Moscow, the Battle of Stalingrad, the Battle of the Kursk Barrage, even I think Belarusia, I think that had also happened. That's how these people, the Western countries, landed in 1944, June. This was less than 1 year to the end of the war. And you can also check the number of the German divisions which were on the Eastern Front, on the Russian front, and compare it with the number which was on the Western Front. It was big difference. Most of the soldiers of Germany were on the East, because that's where the big danger was. So I salute the Soviet people and all the people of the world who fought against Nazi fascism. Well, I think the Kyiv, Ukraine, is being misdirected by some of the external players. They make a lot of mistakes. They cause a lot of problems here in Africa because they come and support wrong positions. Like in the issue of Ukraine, we told everybody that we didn't want to take sides. That's why Uganda has been voting, abstaining in the UN, because we said, let's listen who is right and who is wrong. But these people didn't want to listen. They wanted to take sides. So we said, no, we don't want to be part of this, because we know that those countries were together, Russia and Ukraine. I did the English literature. There was a poem by a British poet, Alfred Tennyson. It is called The Charge of the Light Brigade. This was talking about a British unit that was in Crimea, this Crimea they are talking about now, in 1854 to 1856, in the Crimean War. What I have asked the Western people that I talked to, I say, what was the British unit doing in Crimea in 1854? And whom were they fighting? If the Russians were in Crimea in 1854, and now you say Crimea is now in Ukraine, what? We don't know. We are not there. Let's listen. Why do you think Crimea belongs more to Ukraine than to Russia, or vice versa? Let's listen. I had heard that Khrushchev transferred some parts of Russia and put them in Ukraine when they were like one country, internal borders. Okay, that was when they were one country. Now, if they become two countries, if you divorce, when you are married and you divorce, then you audit what the wife brought, what the husband brought, and then we were asking, was the audit, when the separation happened between Ukraine and Russia, was the auditing, was the divorce done properly? Did you check what the wife came with and what the husband came with, so that there's no unfairness? That's what we wanted to know. Just want to sit in a meeting and we hear, you people, you are married, you are now divorcing. How do you share your property? And why? Why do you want to take this table? Because the table was brought by this one. That's what we were asking them, but they didn't want. They were saying, no, Russia is wrong because they attacked a sovereign country. Yeah, but this sovereign country, they were one country, one time. Why don't we listen to the arguments which they are having? That's why we didn't. So we think that Ukraine is being misled by people who normally mislead other people.
Who are those people, Mr. President?
The imperialists, the ones who like to interfere in the affairs of other countries. And you can see Mr. Trump is coming out and saying, no, I don't want to be part of this mistake. So I think Ukraine would be, if you follow the advice of those, you can get into trouble. Even here in Africa, that's the same problem. When you hear of the problems here, problems there, in South Africa, this was the problem. That small group of white people, they wasted so much of our time fighting them. It was clear they should have gone for democracy long ago, 1960. Sharpeville and Langa massacres.
Sharpeville massacre, yes.
Wasting our time. We had now to spend almost 40 years fighting those people.
This is not a backpack. This is a 40-liter precision engineered solution.
So in each case, if you have got a just cause, the just cause will prevail. If you have got, so we don't, who is right and who is wrong in this case. I have my opinions, but I don't want to externalize them. For instance, we asked some of these friends, did we hear that Ukraine had stopped the speaking of the Russian language in Ukraine? Some said yes, some said no. So where is the truth? Because I'm speaking to you in English, I'm not an Englishman, you can see me. But English came and became part of our language, our system here. And we respect it, we use it for international communication. In Uganda, we've got a 3-language policy. English for international communication. Our indigenous languages for local communication. Swahili for regional. 3-language policy. So what would be the problem? Because part of some of the people are Russian. That's what we hear. Why would anybody, even for one day, say, I don't want Russian to be spoken here? What are you? Who are you? What sort of person are you? Who are you to stop me speaking my language in my home? So this is the type of chauvinism. You know chauvinism? That can lead to all these problems. So I asked some of our people, our friends, the Light Brigade of 1854, whom were they fighting and why? Then this question of the language, we asked them. I couldn't get a clear answer.